When League first started, the art wasn't just amateur, it was $1 million problem. The art was a liability, it felt cheap and was costing Riot a fortune in lost sales. So what happened? How did Riot transform its single greatest weakness into its most powerful weapon? And what can we as artists learn from their incredible journey?
We call it DNA, right? And that's not the actual DNA. It's design, narrative, and art that all work together. And not one is stronger than the other, right? They're pillars that actually have to kind of come together.
It's 2009 and League of Legends has just launched. The resources at Riot are incredibly tight. They have a very small team that is scrambling to work with impossible deadlines for a game that is growing faster than anyone imagined. Splash art is supposed to be the poster for the game. It's supposed to be the thing that attracts us to the game and the character and wants us to play the game. But the art here wasn't really splash art. It was just simple portraits, almost like passport photos for the characters. Very straightforward pose, flat lighting, and almost no environment at all. The art team just really had to get the job done, and they really had to do it really fast. And because of that, well, we were ending up with characters that look like this, with really weird anatomy, or like this, or even weirder faces. The style is supposed to be painterly, but it is very inconsistent. They are relying heavily on the soft brush to blend everything. But as a result, the paintings look very muddy and they lack any storytelling, any dynamic poses, or even good lighting. To save time and meet the deadlines, oftentimes the artists are just painting over 3D models of the game. This has huge limitations on what the art can be, and it's why so many pieces end up just a simple static standing pose. We can see through League of Legends YouTube channel that these splash arts are sometimes taking only 5 hours to make. The tight timelines are really shown in how fast the art is being produced. But honestly, this is amazing to see. We are witnessing the humble beginnings of the art gods in the game industry. A few years has passed and League of Legends is starting to explode in popularity. And with that growth comes greater expectations from the players. League of Legends is competing with other games that have an established brand and reputation. Riot Games immediately recognizes that the key to their branding is the art. They see that if they want to sell skins, promote the game and market the game, or make any money, really depends on how strong and good the art feels. So they make the key decisions here to start investing in the art and the artists. During this period, Riot begins to experiment, to try to find their voice and their brand. The art is still a bit inconsistent but improving. We see beautiful characters placed in a rough painterly background that is a little bit inconsistent with the styles, while others like Lulu begin to feel more cohesive. Playful lighting, charming storytelling, and a real sense of atmosphere. Riot is really trying, this is the point where they're really trying to find their voice. Artists start to do thumbnailing with their ideas, making these rough black and white sketches to explore lighting and composition before they start painting. This is becoming a key part of today's splash art workflow, but the process is still raw. Many of these early thumbnails are so simple that the artist still has to do a lot of inventing. They have to figure out what they need to do along the way as they're creating the piece. I can see that they are trying to make cohesive brand. Some early champion art is also remade. Some are better than others, but they're still trying to bring it all and make it cohesive. I keep watching the art spotlight videos and I see that the art is still being produced very quickly, anywhere between 5 to 9 hours. And then comes Diana's splash art. What an incredible turning point for me. As I'm watching the art spotlight, I can see how much experimentation is done for the art. This is the moment where real thumbnailing becomes part of the process. Getting the ideas developed enough in the sketch phase and in the thumbnailing phase to tell a story. League's art is no longer just simple portraits of champions, it is starting to feel like cinema. By 2015, Riot is finding its rhythm. The art team evolves from a small, passionate team of illustrators into a well-oiled storytelling machine. Right now, splash art isn't just about showing the champion anymore, it's about telling a story, about showing a moment. Think of these pool party skins, this arcade line, or the new KDA group. They all are showing and telling a story before the game even loads. The lighting is becoming so much more dramatic. They are using heavy contrast and sharp rim light to highlight emotion and motion. The compositions are starting to feel like movie posters. Every single stroke is placed with a clear intent. Riot is also beginning to create these cohesive skin lines that have and share the same color palette and the same themes, like the Project skin line, Star Guardian, and Blood Moon. This is giving the entire art team a unified direction. This is League's golden age. This is the time where the visual identity is truly solidifying. And you can see the effect it's having. Players are connecting with this art on an emotional level. It's no longer just, I want to buy this skin, it's becoming, I want to live in this world. As the new standard is set, Riot Games decides to go back and rework some of the older splash art to bring it back and bring it to this new visual identity. And what a difference. Look at this old Evelyn splash art and compare it to the reworked one. It's not even close. League of Legends is right now officially becoming the world standard for game illustration. This brings us to the modern era, where Riot is proving that world-class art can be a global collaboration. Their in-house art directors and art team are now working seamlessly with external studios all across the world, like Westwood Studios in the US and Kudo's Production in China. To make this work, every single splash art follows the same consistent process. Start with multiple thumbnail sketches, explore story and pose and lighting, iterate until it feels alive. And this is not just a production line, certain artists are now true icons of League's visual identity. We have, for example, Alex Flores, who is known for his dark, powerful lighting. We see Bo Chen with his unmatched attention to detail and texture. There's Jennifer, whose mastery to glow and atmosphere is instantly recognizable, and Terrence, whose composition feels cinematic and emotionally rich. And so many more. It's the perfect reminder that art, even at this massive scale, is and always will be personal. So what can we as artists learn from League's journey? The best art doesn't just focus on the character, but it also tells a story. So when you really need to think about how can we tell a story with our art, it doesn't need to be technically perfect, but the storytelling need to exist. Good composition and lighting guide emotion. Every light and shadow is a narrative choice. And we really need to think about that before we start doing our painting. And the biggest lesson here is that growth takes time. The best splash art didn't just happen overnight. It came from years of iteration, feedback, and learning and passion. Riot's art story reminds us that art isn't about perfection, it's about evolution. And maybe that is the beauty in the splash art. It grew up alongside the artists who created and the players who loved it. If you want to learn more about what makes League splash art so good and how you can apply it to your own paintings, you can watch this video here.